as far as singles, Joel, I just want to touch upon maybe a couple of your favorite plays. Like maybe if you had a playbook that you could kind of tell us
Yeah.
a couple that are really effective, simple plays that we can just go out there and try to practice, and that'll be really effective for us.
Yeah, one of them is called the 2-1. I think that's pretty common now, but it does work at every level where you're going to pinpoint the player's weaker side and you're going to try and hit deep. The first ball goes deep to that side. The second ball, you would look to upgrade to your best shot. So for most people, that's a forehand. If you can hit the second ball with a little bit more direction and run them off again on their weaker side, it'll open up a hole on the other side, and that's where you go with the third ball. So it would be two. Let's say I'm playing you and your backhand is your weakness.
Mhm.
Then I would try and go deep to your backhand in the first one, wider to your backhand on the second, and now you're off the court and I have a hole to attack. And even if your forehand is your best stroke there, you're on the run to hit it, so you're not going to be as effective. And I'm probably going to be able to get a forehand on the next ball, which I can go back to your backhand. So that's a really good pattern to practice. Is the 2-1 pattern, and sometimes you'll see it a lot in the pros, but sometimes it becomes a 3-1 if the opponent is a fast recoverer or you don't get the second ball wide enough. Sometimes it's a 4-1, but that's a play in singles that you should be looking to use a lot actually.
Love it. That's really good. Yeah, actually, I did a strategy video maybe a few weeks ago or so, but I can remember the player. He had a deep backhand that pushed the player back, and then he went for a short angle backhand, and the player was way off, and then
Yeah,
he had an easy winner. So that's a
yeah.
really good one there. Appreciate that. Also, just curious about maybe a coaching tip or two. Is there anything in particular where, you've been coaching all these years now, like a philosophy or approach that you had initially that through a mix of experience and also maybe learning from other coaches and other sources that you actually maybe change that approach or ideology?
Yeah, I mean, definitely all the data that's come out on rally length has changed how I
Mhm.
coach significantly. I mean, I used to spend a lot more time rallying ground strokes, and then Craig O'Shaughnessy, basically his data came out, and I've been lucky enough to become friends with Craig since about 2015, and so I've kept up with all the stuff that he's put out, which is amazing. But it's really changed, definitely how I approach practice, even for juniors going forward in their development, because we don't spend as much time doing longer rallies. We definitely work on the serve and the return more, even from a young age. And all of the technique that we do, we always give it a strategy theme. So if we're working on a backhand technique, then I've got to target up at the middle of the ad court, for instance, and I told her or him why that we're doing that. So we can draw an error. So there's a lot of things that's changed in regards to the data and how I've approached coaching. But I think the thing that's remained constant for me is that you can't get better at everything every day, but you can get better at one thing every day, and that's been my sort of philosophy: is good, consistent improvement. And it's only little things. If you're having a tough day on your forehand or your backhand, then let's get you better at the net on a volley. So every practice that you have, there's something that you've added to your toolbox.
Yeah, that's great stuff. I forget if it was Bruce Lee or somebody else who the quote that said like, "I fear the man who
Yeah,
practices the one kick 10,000 times rather than somebody who
yeah,
practices 10,000 different things." Something like that.
yeah.
Probably butchered it.